sweetest soul.
Hello again, dear friends. Welcome to Tommy Chris TV. Good to have you with us as always. Our guest today is the lovely and talented Roxanne Morella. She's an artist, interior designer, a performer. Roxanne does it all. Roxanne, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me, Tommy. It's great to be here.
Good to have you with us as always. And you've been a busy lady here this past year, right?
Just a little.
Yeah.
Did some of the Meet the Artist night.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You had quite a few of those. Those are awfully nice. As a matter of fact, I played music for a couple of them.
Yes,
It was great.
you did.
It's something like that is exactly what this community needs.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough of it.
Yeah, you're
Artists
right. You're
and
right.
musicians mixed together and all of that. It was a lot of fun. So aside from interior design, which is your
Forte.
forte, thank you.
Sorry.
I know you can prompt me anytime you want. That's fine. You've been involved with other forms of art.
Yes.
Like such as.
I did wayward furniture.
Mm.
And I like to rescue pieces one piece at a time. I rescue furniture and
Like little
rehab
pets?
it. Yeah, like little pets. I have a home I started for them.
Wow.
I rescue them and remake them into something beautiful and
Interesting concept. So tell us about your background a little bit. What are you all about? When did you first get interested in interior design?
you know what? I was just talking about this the other day. It was so funny. When I was probably about 11, 12 years old, somebody was throwing out some frames. You know how they have garbage day and trash day and they throw stuff out? They were throwing out some frames. So I took them home and I painted them. And I made some mats myself. And then I ripped some pages out of National Geographic and I put them up on the wall. And my mother came home and wanted to know where I got them from. And I told her I made them.
Wow.
But at
How old
the
were you?
same time, I was probably about 11,
Oh,
11,
okay.
12. At the same time, that's when my mother used to come home at night and she'd wake me up and say, "Would you please quit rearranging the furniture? I keep getting black and blue marks when I come home."
How about other stuff? Like you used to sing, didn't you?
Oh yeah, when I was younger, when we lived out in Greene, Ohio, which is
Wow.
it's kind of out there, but when we lived out in Greene, we had Roper's Barn. On Saturday nights, there was a hoedown every Saturday night. So
Okay.
my first instrument they taught me to play was the spoons.
You play the spoons. I know a lot of great spoon players.
So I progressed from the spoons up to the guitar, and I was self-taught on the guitar. I would bring my guitar down to the barn, and everybody brought their instruments and played, and that's why they called it hoedown. And then I learned to sing, and because it was mostly country out there, I learned to sing a lot of country.
Sure.
I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little bit of Memphis, Nashville, with a little bit of Motown in my soul. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but I know I love it so. I'm a little bit country, and I'm a little bit rock and roll. And you want to hear a funny story, though?
Of course.
When I was 19 years old, I was working at a trophy store. And this guy came in from a Nashville music company. He was in town doing some awards. And when he came in, he looked at me and he said, "I know you from somewhere." And I said, "I don't know." He goes, "You used to sing, didn't you?" I said, "Because I saw you at a festival singing with the bluegrass band." I'm like, "Really? You remember that?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You still sing?" I said, "Yeah, I sing with a rock band now." He goes, "I'll be willing to sign you if you wanted to be a country singer." He goes, "I'd be willing to sign you." Because you have to come down to Peppermint Recording Studio and lay a track for me. And he goes, "Would you be willing to do that?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I got down there. We sang a song. He had me paired with two other girls. We were going to be a backup group for to go on tour with a headliner. We
Right.
would travel with the headliner as one of
Okay.
the opening groups. And it sounded great. And then he brought out my duds. Let's call them my duds. To where, oh my God, it was white with rhinestones and fringes and red flares and the cowboy hat. And I was just 19 and full of myself. And I thought,
I'm not
I
wearing
want to be
that.
a country star. Then I had to sign a contract and he owned me for 2 years.
So let's back up a second.
Okay.
Let's get back to design now.
Mhm.
Interior design. You discovered, you went and got some frames, and you put National Geographic in the frames, and your mom was bumping into furniture.
Yeah, yeah.
So from there, where did it go?
Well, I stayed in art all through high school, and art shows to me were money makers because after the art show, I would always win like my awards for first, second, or third, whatever, and then people would buy my stuff at the shows. So I always look forward to art shows because I knew I'd make money. I never
Yeah.
really kept but maybe one or two paintings that I ever did.
Yeah,
but it was
that's
fun.
part of the
And as I grew up and like into college, I think my senior year of high school, my art teacher suggested I put a portfolio together to help me get into college.
Mhm.
And
So now, where
unfortunately,
did you go to college?
I went to Penn Ohio College, which was here in Youngstown, but because we couldn't get portfolio together, I never ended up going to college right away.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually went down to Ohio State and ended up working and not really going to college, and ended up coming back here, getting married. I was 20 years old when I got married, very young, and it wasn't until I was about 25 that I decided I needed to go back to school. And I went back to school for interior design. And at the time, Penn Ohio College in Youngstown had one of the few design schools available in the area outside of going to Kent State or Pittsburgh, which were both too far to drive on a regular basis daily. So I ended up going to Penn Ohio College, which ironically had a 2-year degree plus apprenticeship to become a designer then.
Forgive me. Where is Penn Ohio College?
It used to be at the corner of Midlothian and Market Street, and the big yellow brick building that's sitting vacant now.
Oh.
But what happened was the year that I graduated design school, and I worked my apprenticeship while I was in school. I did my apprenticeship with Karen Hutch while I was in school, so I could get them both done pretty close together simultaneously. But the year I graduated, they did away with the 2-year degree for interior design, the 2-year plus apprenticeship, and they went to a strict 4-year degree after that. So the Penn Ohio College, that was their biggest course, and they ended up closing.
Was that did they have much of an enrollment there? Or?
Yeah. It was
How
a
long
pretty
was
good-
it there? I missed it. It got by me.
They were
I
like
heard of it, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
they were more of like a business school, a 2-year
Yeah.
business school. I don't know how long they were there. I really don't. But all I knew was I wanted to take the course. And I wanted to work with the best firm in the town at the time, and that was Karen Hutch Interiors. And there were 5 designers that worked out of there, so.
So tell us about your fine art, your painting and stuff.
Well, my painting and such has kind of been on the back burner, because when you're in design,
Mm-hmm.
it takes up a lot of your time.
I would imagine it does.
Yeah,
All
your
art does.
Yeah. It takes up so much time to do a painting. To me, is a whole different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it's more 3D in doing a design for a client,
Right.
and there's a lot of research and a lot of involvement that goes into putting together rooms. When I'm doing a painting, I need to be not distracted. I need to be focused in one spot. And being a designer, you need to be multi-focused. You need to be all over the place,
Mhm.
and you need to make sure that you're keeping everything in check. So it's hard for me to go from being multifaceted to being
Focused on one thing,
one thing.
painting,
So it's
yeah.
really hard for me to get back into the painting.
Yeah.
I really.
It's
have-
like production. I mean,
Yeah.
the interior design thing is a lot like production.
Yeah.
Setting
yeah.
up a set
Yeah.
and almost like a movie set or something.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because that's what basically, if you were involved in movies and doing sets, that's what you would be doing. Basically.
You know what's funny? I took you do this career test. They used
Uh-huh.
to see what you would be good at one day. It's like, I did a career test one day just to see, and I said I should be a director.
Mm.
Whatever I'm doing, I should be a director.
I
of
could
it.
see that.
And I can see that too, because as a designer, you really have to learn how to harness in everybody who's working with you on a
Right.
project and get them all on the same
A
page.
director has to have a great
Vision.
peripheral and
Yeah.
in front of him, and know
And
what's
we have
going
to
around
be able
him.
to transfer our vision into those people we're working with
Mm-hmm.
and the person who's receiving it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's.
Yeah, it's a definitely
production.
a multitasking.
I always kind of thought of it as I feel like the conductor
Yeah.
of an orchestra.
Yes,
The
that's a good comparison
orchestra
too.
are all the people who are creating the pieces with me, my carpenter, my painter, my tile guy, everybody who's working with me. It's up to me to go in and lead them in just the right way, so when we're finished, it's a wonderful piece of music.
Just to jump off the track for a
Yeah.
second, I was Googling you, and I came across a charity thing,
Uh-huh.
and your name was in there. It was a Down syndrome event.
Yeah, DSAB.
So you do that kind of stuff too, huh?
Oh yeah, I when they moved to Boardman, I helped them do their offices.
Oh, okay.
They have some here in Boardman. It's a
Oh, you
wonderful
design
program.
did the interior design in the offices? Okay.
Yeah, and then we always participate in their buddy walk every year too.
Oh, good.
They have a buddy walk out at the shops at Boardman Plaza. Anybody who's never gone should go. It's just fabulous.
And when is it this year?
It's every August. I believe it's the first week in August.
Okay. Try to check that out.
Yeah, bring it back.
Something just jumped out of my brain I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Animals. You're an animal lover. And
yeah.
you've done stuff for animal charities and stuff too?
Yeah. I actually have 2 dogs right now that I've adopted, that were both rescued. And I just have a big heart.
Stop.
Big heart animals. So,
What happened? I wanted to ask you about, you have a new show concept in mind.
yes.
And I wanted you to tell the viewers, because I know people that watch this particular channel are going to be real interested in what
Oh,
you're
and
going to
I'm
be
interested
doing.
in any feedback from them also.
Yeah.
Here's kind of what I thought. Over the last year in having the store and doing all the Meet the Artist night, we have so much talent in this area. I mean, a lot of talented artists and people of every media. But I would love to tap into a show for cable, making some shows that help to show the art and how to create things, or how to be a part of getting involved in the arts and creating your own items, and just something visually fun and challenging and entertaining and informational. So I've been talking to quite a few of the artists and trying to get ideas as far as what we could do. Everything from doing some rescues from area furniture stores, used furniture stores, to create some pieces, we repurpose pieces, to doing some mosaic works on camera to show people how to, what you can do with tile. Tile isn't just for floors anymore. To lamp making, to, out of anything, to visiting the furniture. We have a furniture store here in Ohio, Norwalk Furniture, who does American-made furniture, not only American but Ohio-made upholstery, and they have a wonderful intro program every spring and every fall, showing the new lines that are coming out, and kind of like a little mini furniture market. It's a lot of fun and informational, and it shows everybody what's new and what's fresh and what's coming up.
So now you're also going to be going to locations and getting
road trips.
Road trips, getting businesses to participate in all. Now, are you guys going to be doing anything that you can't find on, say, for instance, HDTV or any of those channels?
We kind of compared it to diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Okay.
Where Guy goes around to check out the restaurants and tell you who's got what. I really want to take the design aspect of that and go around to all the different vendors in the design industry, the different companies, showing what they have available, and show people what these companies are doing, what they're coming out with, what's out there, what's innovative, what's new, what's exciting. I mean, the wallpapers on walls, oh my gosh, they're not just wallpaper anymore. I mean, these are huge murals, and there's so many things that you can custom do anymore that, people just aren't aware of. I want to bring all this information to people and show them how practical it is to get and use and do. Yeah.
How about a rescue process where you go into businesses and you tell them, I don't know who your interior designer is, but as Will Smith would say, I won't say who.
Kind of like a intervention. Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
a restaurant
like-
design intervention.
You know,
Actually,
like that
it's
bar
funny.
rescue show,
It's
or the
funny you said that because we actually are planning on doing that specifically. We picked up some lines of furniture that carry booths and tables for restaurants, and we decided that one of the things we could do is just start coming up with the designs for some of these restaurants in the area that need them, and then presenting them to them, and seeing if they're interested in moving forward.
Yeah, and they would have to. I think on these TV shows that, like for Bar Rescue, for instance, the channel puts up the money
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
the remodeling and everything. The refer. So they would have to, in this case,
Yeah.
the businesses would have to agree to, want to go ahead
Sure.
and make some changes, right? It would be their dime, in other
Yeah,
words.
yeah. Well, I even put it out on Facebook, telling people that the next adventure we want to do is really get into start doing some shows for cable, and give me your ideas.
Some advice. Never
Mhm.
ask for advice on Facebook. It's like putting an ad in the paper. Like, you
But
know
I
what?
have a lot of a lot of them are my clients and friends
Yeah.
who are design related, so they really were good at giving me
Well, that's good.
feedback.
You were
Yes.
lucky.
Yes, I was lucky.
You were very lucky because you did get a lot of jerks. But no offense toward.
You know
People
you can choose your friends on Facebook, right?
Well, yes, of course. But I mean, if you put something out there, just about anybody can,
Yeah.
through other friends, they
Yeah,
can
they can
network through
comment,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
you're
they
right.
could see it and they
You're
could
right.
comment on it. One time many years ago, I made the mistake of putting an ad in the paper for musicians. Was that a big mistake?
Oh, I can imagine.
With
Even the
call.
ones that
I wish I had
can't-
recorded some of the
Yeah.
calls I got. They'd be probably archival by now. So we're talking about what's this new show going to be called, or don't you know yet?
You know, I like the word innovations. Innovative Interior is what the name I came up with for my business a year ago. It was Roxanne's until then. But love innovation. When I came up with the word innovation is the pulse of where we're at in this country right now. We reached a point where we recession, and now to get out of it, to move forward, we have to be innovative. We have to think outside the box. We have to be creative in a business sense. So innovations, I think somehow I'm putting that terminology in there somewhere. We'll come up with a catchy phrase, but I still like that word. I still think it's a great word. And ever since I decided to use it for my business, now everybody's talking about innovative this, innovation that, and
Yeah, it's a
So,
great word.
It is, and I think it really frames
And it
up
rolls
where
off
we're
the
at.
tongue real good.
Innovative.
If you can talk.
Innovative.
Yeah, it's dynamic. It's a very dynamic name, and it would be great for your show. And you also mentioned something about taking it on the road.
Road trips. I
Road
love
trip.
road trips.
So innovative road trips, maybe.
Innovative road trips.
I don't know. No, it's just something I threw out there. Don't worry about it. You don't have to even consider it because
I'll
it's
put
pretty
it up
bad.
here.
Yeah. So now I want to jump off the track a little
Okay.
bit and ask you some personal questions, if you don't mind.
No.
What do you feel is your own personal most significant characteristic? When you
You
think
know,
about yourself, what
This
comes?
is easy because when I did some work for Contact, which was the Community Connection Help Hotline, and at one point we had to pick a word from the first letter of our name that best described who we were. And I picked the word resourceful. And I really believe that's my best characteristic trait.
That's the director coming out in you.
I am very resourceful. I try to ingest, inhale, devour as much information as I can that I think is going to be useful to other people.
Let me see. T. What would be mine? Mine would be testy, tyrannical, talkative. Let me see. Temper. Those would all describe me very well, I think. So heroes. Got any real life heroes?
Well, I know it kind of sounds redundant, but Oprah has always been a great hero of mine. I do like her because I love her sense of giving that she has done for this world.
Yeah. She's an amazing story.
Yeah. Carol Burnett, I love Carol Burnett for her humor.
Yeah.
she probably is the one who taught me, be funny, don't care what people think about you. Just be yourself, be funny. And I
just
learned that
relax
from her. I really developed my sense of giving and feeling good about who I am from Oprah. I mean,
Yeah.
watching.
Just for a second now,
Mhm.
I want to jump back to interior design.
Yes,
I know we're hopping around all over the
That's
place here
okay.
today, but
I'm multi-talented.
when you walk into a room, what is in you that decides, well, you know what, this should be over there, and that color should be over
That's
there?
a really good question. That's one of my favorite questions.
Oh, okay.
Because when I walk into someone's home, it's up to me to look at the home, to look at what the home is saying to me. Like, you know, it's a Victorian home, it's a French style home, it's an Italian villa style home. What the house is saying to me, I want to look at the owner and see what kind of personality the owner is, figure out what the function of the home is, the purpose, how it's used, when it's used. And I want to incorporate all those things in together with whatever vision that the customer has, because it's important that you have some kind of vision. And they'll always tell me, I have no idea what I want to do with the house. I said, okay. So basically, it's up to me to figure out what the client likes and then bring it to life in their home without compromising the style of the home or the function. Because the biggest thing in design is form has to follow function. In other words, it has to be functional before it can be aesthetically pleasing. If it's not functional, it's a bad design.
And when you say functional, in terms of
Meaning, if I create a living room that's really beautiful, but nobody can sit in it because
gotcha.
it's
Okay.
uncomfortable, because there's not a right traffic flow, then it's a
It has to
it's
be
a poor
usable.
design. Yes,
it still has to be usable.
usable.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another good word for function.
Yeah.
So I usually will ask my clients, you know, do you have something that you really like in this house already? It can be a picture, it can be an area rug. I had one client that we designed around her Capodimonte vase that she got from her grandmother from Italy. We designed her whole living room around the vase. So if you have one thing that you love, and I've had clients tell me, I don't have anything. I said, then take me to your closet. Because I can see the colors that you like. But usually you start from somewhere. My ideal of a good design is one that doesn't show my style repeatedly in home after home. It
Good
brings
point.
to life your style. So there were some designers that I could go in their house and I could always tell they did it because it was the same stuff over and over again. And I think that's a poor designer not listening to the client. Every home that I do should bring the client's personality and their taste to life, not mine.
I have another interesting point. Do you ever deal with men?
Oh yeah, yeah.
A lot of men?
I would say maybe
Mostly women.
Yeah, mostly women and couples. There's a lot of
Couples.
couples. A lot of
Okay.
couples. Probably half of my clients are couples.
But do the men have a lot of, they don't normally have a lot of input in this kind of stuff, do they?
Some.
Okay.
Some. I have had some couples that the men do all the picking out.
Mm.
So there are a lot of closet designers out there in men. And then I've had some clients that were just men by themselves and they have really specific taste. Doctors especially are very specific in their taste.
Are most people duck?
Duck,
Yeah. Do
What
they
is it?
duck things like tchotchke and duck? You deal with that a lot?
tchotchke and duck.
Yeah. It was
Let me see
a comic act back in the 40s. You remember Tchotchke and Duck?
No, I missed that.
I'm just
I
kidding.
wasn't born until the 60s.
No, I was just kidding. There was no Tchotchke and Duck. No, duck is when you go into people's homes and you see
The old mallard ducks.
yeah,
And the teddy bears on the borders.
teddy bears
yeah.
and the more like
There's still some country people. I call them the old country teddy bears and rocking horses and ducks
Yeah.
in the borders, yeah, that need to be converted and updated.
are they resistant to it?
No. Usually when people call me, they're more than ready for me to come out.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, when we were passing out flyers to homes one day, one of my assistants said, why didn't you pass it out at this house? They really could use you. I said, that's not one of our clients. And she says, how can you tell? I said, because they have a specific taste and it's not a good concept. Those people don't want help.
Yeah, they're resistant to help.
Yes.
They already think they know what they're doing.
Yes, and they
Okay.
don't want help. The homes that we usually work in are the people who maybe a little reserved, but they have really specific tastes, and they don't want to make mistakes.
Well, when we watch some of these reality shows and they go
Mhm.
into people's homes, most of these homes don't have anything on the walls.
Yeah.
They're very plain and very simple, which I
Yeah.
find is, in
And that's-
looking at these shows,
yeah.
it's 90% of
That's many of my clients too. I mean, I will go in and they have been living there for 5 years and they don't have anything in their dining room yet because they don't know what to do. They would rather not do anything and not make a statement than put something in wrong and make the wrong statement.
Plus, it's simply not, probably, I'm going to say, simply not in their frame of thought. It's not things
Right.
that they think about.
Right. Right.
Their mind's someplace else.
Like my mind is not doesn't work in books and accounting, and it's a whole different frame of mind that people,
Mhm.
and it's just like people who are in accounting and bookkeeping and have to do with numbers or statistics. They're usually not creative people. We all have our weaknesses and things that we are good at, and usually people who are more business-like are not as creative. Yeah.
That's a natural thing, I
Mhm.
think. Your greatest fear. What do you fear the most?
Fear. Is that my son won't get married one day and have grandkids. I want to be a grandma one day.
I wouldn't have guessed you would have said that.
No.
Want to be well, that's a natural thing. I think everybody wants to be a grandparent, don't you?
Oh,
At
no.
some point?
Yeah. But you know what?
Why do you fear that? I mean,
it's just funny.
Oh.
I look forward to that next step in my life.
yeah, now, how old is your son?
My son's only 25. He's not ready for marriage
Oh,
yet.
he's still. If he was 35 and hadn't gotten married, well, okay, you might have something
Yeah,
to worry about, but
yeah.
maybe not. Even,
I guess the biggest fear I have is losing my parents one day. I mean, that's going to be a hard thing
That's
to
hard.
get past. Yeah.
I've lost mine.
Yeah.
It's traumatic.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess
that's
that's the biggest fear I have in my life at this point. The rest, of my life, it's in the hands of God.
Yeah. And we came from a very large ethnic,
Oh.
emotional family. And when we lost our parents, it was a big
It was a big to-do.
emotional upheaval type of
Yeah.
thing, and which is natural for ethnic people and stuff like that. I'm not don't want to stereotype anybody, but I have to call it the way I see it, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's a fear. That's
Yeah.
that's a greatest fear.
One of my favorite poems is Ralph Waldo Emerson's The Meaning of Success.
You care to recite a line or two for us? What's your favorite lines in that poem?
Probably to leave this world a better place, either by a reformed social condition or a patch in a garden, just by touching a child's life. I mean, there are so many different things you can do.
You're not planning on leaving anytime soon, are you?
No. No, but I mean, while we're here, let's not waste time.
Exactly right.
We don't know how long we have, so
let's get
make-
to the important things.
Yeah.
So, what's your ultimate goal for your upcoming show?
My ultimate goal.
It doesn't have a working
wanna
title yet.
get-
Do we have a working title yet? No, we talked about that, right?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
No working title yet.
No
That's
pressure.
fine.
No pressure. It'll come
You'll
to me.
find out for sure.
It'll come to me, I promise you.
Yeah.
It'll come to me. My ultimate goal is to get a show that involves information, style, humor, and a lot of great people, and makes it to HGTV or TLC or one of those shows one day that, people could actually watch it and give me good feedback on, go see this place next. Send me somewhere.
Syndication, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of calls.
Oh.
Once this thing starts to air and businesses find out, or people, it doesn't have to be business,
Yeah.
it can be just people find out
Yeah.
what you're doing. It's going to be a great
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
And you know what?
Hmm.
You've asked me to be involved, and I'm really excited about that. I
Yeah.
told you I'm getting a new camera.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to start the shows. Just gotta
Roxanne.
fine tune the ideas.
Thanks so much for coming
Oh, thanks for having
and
me
being
on.
a part of the
Appreciate
show.
it.
And we're going to be looking for your show
Okay.
very soon
Okay.
on this very channel.
Oh, yay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for viewing the show today. There's
Thanks.
more from Tommy Chris TV in the near future, so keep us posted For Roxanne Morella, I'm Tommy Chris. Bye-bye.
Bye.